Hello and welcome to another edition of Snipes Castle, the U.S. Navy Sailors Podcast, where we are shipmates for life. Retired Senior Chief Darryl Starks here again with another USS Forrest Sherman DDG 98 shipmate of ours that exited the Navy on his first enlistment after being advanced to GSM-1, Petty Officer First Class. It surprised me, surprised all of us. It shocked me because the house of cards is falling all over the place on the Forrest Sherman. All these guys getting out, but he's one of the ones that surprised me most. That's probably just as shocked as when GSM-1 Kenneth Miller decided to be discharged. But I was like, God, man, all the first class is leaving. But Ryan was a mainstay in the old lab for quite some time. Then he moved to the engine room. He was quiet, but we all knew he was a talented and smart sailor. Never got into trouble, nothing. I mean, he was quiet. That's the kind of sailor you always want in your department right there. But he was a true shipmate, always helping out uh, anyone that needed help. And we really appreciated everything he contributed while he was there. And like I said, it shocked us when he decided to give up. So give it up for veteran, the former GSM-1 Ryan Dana. Everybody give it up for Dana. Yeah.
What's going on, Senior Chief?
What's up? What's up? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good.
Doing good. That's good. So what I want to first start out by asking you is, where are you originally from?
So I'm from Portland, Oregon.
Portland,
Originally,
Oregon.
yeah, grew up in the inner city, and currently I'm living out in Estacada, so it's like 30 minutes east of Portland.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So that's where you went after you uh, was discharged.
Yep, stayed in Norfolk for a little bit, but then flew back home and yeah.
So taking us going back, what made you want to join the Navy?
So it's kind of a long story, but it was the 2008 and the recession was going on, so it was kind of hard to keep a job, get a job. I didn't have a lot going on. I was going to community college at the time, but ran out of money, and so I was kind of just doing whatever, like working at a pizza place. Uh, I got a job working for Subway, and it's kind of funny because it's the only job I've actually been fired from. I was I was working at Subway for a couple weeks, man, and
What'd you get
actually,
fired for?
well, so like one of the Portland Trailblazers came in, and I guess like the owner of the Subway was like friends with him, and it was my first couple weeks, so I was a little nervous, and I ended up dropping his sandwich, and he just like fired me on the spot. So,
Oh, okay.
but yeah, there was a recruiting office down the street from where I was living at the time, and honestly, I had never thought about joining the military. It wasn't even on my mind, but just kind of in a rough spot. So I was like, let me just stop in, see what's up, and uh, I was actually, I was heavily smoking weed at the time, so I went in there and they were really cool, man. This AO2, this recruiter, he basically just like he was like, you know what, like just keep coming back, and whenever you can pass a UA, we'll get you into MEPS and stuff. So that was 2008. I didn't actually. I think it was might have been the like December 2008 when I actually went to MEPS. But I was in the delayed entry program for maybe like another 6 more months before I actually ended up shipping out. So
Recruiter. Yeah, I've been recruiting twice, man. And I swear, I was like, man, do they sell weed at the convenience store? Like everybody, especially in New York, it was like, oh my God, yeah, I smoked it yesterday. So
yeah.
that ain't nothing. So you joined. So when you got the MEPS, if you remember, what jobs did they offer you?
So interestingly enough, like I actually did really well in the ASVAP. I think I was in the high 70s. But they put me in on a waiver, just because I was smoking weed all the time and stuff. I got charged a couple times for MIPs when I was younger. So I had to do a waiver, and they basically were like, yeah, just say it was your first time you got busted, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So due to that, I think I got offered bosun's mate, D seaman, pretty much all the engineering jobs, and that was it. And I didn't have an engineering background or anything. I kind of just I think I did not pick GS. That was not my first choice because I remember reading the description. It was like, works in extremely hot spaces, a bunch of stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
firefighting. I'm like, I don't know about that. So I
Yeah.
think
This is
I'm, yeah, I might have picked like bosun's mate, honestly, but it just turned out got GS, so it was kind of crazy how it worked
so
out.
so you actually I know when I went there, I read that description. I was like, nah, I came here to be a cook, going on
Right?
no damn engine room, But you end up picking GS.
Yeah. So, but I'm fortunately, I was good at it, so I'm glad now for sure that I went that route. But
Yeah, boats is made.
yeah, and on top of that too, I remember when they asked you where you want to go. Me being from the West Coast, I was like, I want to go San Diego, Hawaii would be cool. Anything overseas. Well, it turns out because I had the waiver, I couldn't go overseas.
Oh,
But yeah, like Norfolk would have been my last choice, and sure enough, that's what I got.
yeah, that's pretty much everybody's last choice. So you go to A school, graduate A school, and you're given. I'm pretty sure you was given the USS Forrest Sherman as your first ship, right?
Yep.
Right. So you check on board the USS Forrest Sherman. Now, how did you feel about checking aboard your first ship? You remember who was your sponsor, who checked you on board, and how was your first like 6 months on board?
Yeah. So I actually shout out to NCC Hale. We arrived on
Ah,
board the same day.
oh
So
yeah.
yeah, well, same day, same day. So my sponsor was supposed to be GSM1 Neil. He was a guy working in the oil lab, and I never even got in contact with him. I'm not sure what was going on there, but shout out to him too, because Neil, he was a good guy. Um, or he was a GSM2. I'm not sure if he made first class. He should have been a first class, but it's one of those really knowledgeable guys.
Yeah.
But didn't put on the rank and stuff. But anyways, I didn't even get in contact with him. I got flown out mid deployment. It was the 2009 deployment, and arrived aboard the ship. We were doing the pirate hunting in the I was off the coast of Somalia, so it
Yeah.
was like super hot. But yeah, I got heloed over after staying. I got to stay in a stateroom on a merchant ship for a while. It was a long ride to actually get into the boat and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know what to expect. Having had arriving mid deployment, it was kind of cool because like everybody was in the flow of things.
Hmm.
But they basically. I remember showing up to CCS, and it was Chief Alexander at the time, and I think Warren was there, and Ruiz, another GSM one. But they were just like, "Where you want to go?" And I was like, "I don't know." But they were talking about like main one, main two, oil lab kind of thing. But they ended
Hmm.
up sticking me down in main two, and basically spent that whole deployment just cleaning bilges, painting stuff, and as a fireman, a lot of people know my story of success and picking up rank and stuff, but it was kind of hard for me to adapt, honestly, when I was a fireman. I struggled a little bit. I remember getting chewed out. Chief Alexander chewed me out one time because I think I was just like kind of off skating in the helo hangars, just hanging out or whatever. So I couldn't hear the 2MC, and apparently he was calling me for like over an hour. So when I finally showed up, man, he chewed me out, and so it was a little bit rough adjusting. One of my first ports was Valencia, Spain, and I
Hmm.
I, I damn near went AWOL because I got super drunk in town, and
Yeah.
I was like, yep, this is it. I'm staying here. Like this is this is way better than the ship. But fortunately, I had some good shipmates with me, some good Liberty buddies, and they convinced me to get back on board. But yeah, that could have been it. I could have just
Oh, man. Just go, just to stay in Spain.
right.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it was definitely interesting adjusting. But when we pulled in from that deployment, I actually, I was still a fireman,
Hmm.
but I was like, I'm getting an apartment out in town. I'm not staying on board. so, so I ended up right outside the air side there on Norfolk. I ended up getting an apartment Merrimack Landing. I'm not sure if you know where that's at, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know where that's at. Mhm.
yeah. So I got an apartment as a fireman, and I didn't even drive at the time. So I was taking a. This was before Uber, so it was just
The
taxis.
taxis. Yeah. Taxis all over the
Yeah.
place.
So I'd be taking a taxi into work, and then usually I could get a ride, home after work.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was kind of basically the whole time I was a fireman. I wasn't really fully sold on the Navy. I was kind of
Hmm.
just had one foot in and just kind of surviving.
Right.
Um, but fortunately, I got super lucky in my career for a number of reasons. But I was a push button third class, so I got top grad in my A school.
Hmm.
So I think it was a couple months after pulling in, I put on third class, and there was a large turnover in the engineering department at that time.
Hmm.
So pretty much everyone who knew me as a fireman ended up leaving, and then we got I think shortly after that's when you checked on board, and Chief Emilius, shout out to Chief Emilius, a
Hmm.
great guy. He checked in and he took over for Chief Alexander. So they didn't really know me as the fireman Dana that was kind of struggling a little bit. They knew me as a third class, and they treated me as such. So that was like number one, me lucking out and just kind of just being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's right around the time when they sent me to crank. So I worked, in the mess decks as a or FSA, I guess they call it, or I'm not sure what they call
Yeah.
it now, but yeah, I went cranking, and I think that's probably my lowest time in the Navy, honestly. So I went from like struggling at first to actually, I started getting treated better when I put on that third class. Started, kind of working the Navy a little bit. It was working for
Right.
me. But then when I went cranking, man, I just kind of got super depressed all over again. And so this is the time when uh, there was this stuff called Spice that was out, and it was out in town. They were selling it just at gas stations and stuff, kind of behind the counter.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, what that is. It's synthetic marijuana. And let me start out by saying I do not, I don't think that stuff was good at all. I definitely shouldn't have been partaking and doing it when I was doing, but it was all around and stuff. So I was dabbling with that a little bit, and I just got into a really bad, like, depressed state. Um, I remember one time I'd stayed up, I drank too much, and I just was like, I'm not going to work tomorrow. I'm not in the Navy no more. So I remember I passed out until like 11 o'clock. Well, like, this is just me getting lucky again, right? So
Yeah.
the duty van drove to my house with CS1 at the time, and shout out to the CSC. I can't remember what her name is, but
Is it uh, uh I can't remember her name. I know you're talking about though.
yeah, really nice, really good chief.
Hmm.
She had sent the duty van with the CS1 to come pick me up from my house. So,
Wow.
because I guess like I had some roommates at the time, and I guess they had called them in and like what's up with Dana? Why what's going on? And they came pick me up, took me back to the ship, and they kept it all in house. She was like what you need, like I told her like I was depressed and stuff, and she's like there's support that you can get here on the ship for that, and just talk to me honestly, and that having that kind of support like really just kind of took me out of that dark spot, and I was like I can't be doing this spice shit no more, so I was from then on, I kind of just I took it as like a second chance. I was like, man, I could have gone to mass, I could have gotten kicked out, whatnot. So I started kind of feeling better,
Mm-hmm.
And so fast forward after cranking, uh, went back to the division. I think this is you might have checked on board right around that time, um, but because it was Chief Emilius and you that were kind of like you know uh, running the engineering department, and
Excuse me, Damon.
I,
What was it? CSC Harrison?
that sounds right. I believe so.
Kind of a heavy set chief.
Oh no no no! This was a female chief. Female chief, younger. She's kind of good looking.
Yeah, I know you. It's not Harrison. It's the other chief.
The other one.
God, damn, what's her name? I know you're talking about though. I'm gonna get it.
Yeah.
I was looking up, but yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's all right. So I don't know which one of you guys put me up for C school, but like as soon as I came back from cranking, and this is just me getting lucky again. Like I had a third class. I'd probably been in about a year and a half maybe, um,
Yeah,
and you guys put me up for C school. So I went to C
yeah, I
school.
remember that. We needed that NEC, and we sat down. It's like, damn, who we gonna send to C school? And I believe it was Eves Emilius mentioned you, and I was like, yeah, he don't get in trouble. I don't know anything, good guy. We were saying him. That's fine, And yeah, but I remember that. I remember we talking about that. Who he's going to send? Yeah. Well, I remember us picking you.
Nice. So yeah, thank you for that because that changed my trajectory drastically. Like went to C school as a third class, and I ended up doing really well there. Uh, and then I ended up putting on second, largely because of all the knowledge I got from C school.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I picked up second when I was at C school, but shortly after I got back, put on second class. Um, so yeah, I'd been in about 2 years and already was second class before that, the
Mm-hmm.
2012 deployment.
Yeah.
I think that when I got back from there, that's when Nickerson checked on board and Miller came shortly after, I believe. So like, I think a lot of people have shouted them out on these podcasts, but two really, really smart guys, great first classes. Um,
And when
and
I
me being,
said when the house of cards started to fall, that was the base right there. When they left.
yeah,
Nickerson and Miller right there. Those two, I just can't stop praising them enough. I'm telling you.
yep. Shout out to them for sure. I learned so much from those guys. And me being just a fresh second class too, having them to to ask questions to kind of guide me was huge.
Mm-hmm.
So that 2012 deployment, man, I think that crew that we had for that deployment was, I was obviously it's my first ship, but that was a great crew, man. Just like we were all really tight, had each other's backs, and made that cruise really really enjoyable, and we did what we had to do. So and so shout out to pretty much everybody that was on that deployment with us. I, this is right around the time where I picked up the work center soup, and I think I was in main one. You guys stuck me in main one, and I had Portel and Catlin were my guys. And the funny thing about that is both those guys had been in the Navy longer than me, and they
Yeah.
they were third classes, working for me. So they
Mhm.
made my job super easy. They already
Yeah.
knew, that they were basically second classes that were, third
Yeah, they were
class just because
seasoned
that's what.
second, thirds. Yeah, they were seasoned,
Yeah.
so they
So
knew what
like,
was going on.
yeah. So that whole deployment was just like, it made it so easy, and it was we we made it happen. So shout out to
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah. That was a good deployment. That was a real good deployment. No real big issues, that came up. But yeah, that was a really good crew. Oh my gosh, that's a really good crew.
Yep. And so after that deployment, I think we were in the yards. Yeah, we pulled into the yards after that. Um, and so I made second. I think it took me 2 tries to make second, but after that deployment, I ended up. You guys gave me an EP on one of my evals, so I was able to
Hmm.
take the first class test a little bit early. I think that's the way it worked. So I
Yeah,
actually
yeah,
made first class my first time up.
yeah. That surprised everybody.
Yeah.
When you said GSM one thing, I'm like, God damn, that surprised everybody. I mean, you total you did 5 or 6 years,
5 years.
5 years, and you're already at GSM one. It's like, wow, you know. So he's like, yeah, yeah, he going to stay in. He go re-enlist. He go to shore duty.
So yeah, ended up getting out though.
Yeah, yeah. They've been in for a little while. People get out all the time. Huh? There are people who get out at a time when I mean you was like peaking. I mean you was like striding, peaking. You know, damn GSM shit. I mean 5 years. God, I mean you was like on a trajectory to. I mean to be a freaking master chief, pretty much. I mean you was right there. Now what made you decide to be honorably discharged instead of heading to shore duty and seeing if, hey, let me go to shore duty, do this and that, and then I'll decide. What made you decide to ultimately get out?
So I guess I don't know what the real answer is to this. Uh, I had orders in hand. I was gonna go to TPU San Diego, um, and I was ready, but I ended up going home shortly before I had to make the final call, and I actually dropped some LSD, and
You
so
what?
yeah, I ended up getting a couple tabs of acid, and I had a crazy trip that night. Kind of saw where potential pathways of my life, and woke up in the morning and was like, you know what, I'm gonna get out. Um, so that's part of it, but
Hmm.
the other part is that just based on how lucky I had been not going to mast, like there's so many times where I could have stuff could have gone the wrong way. I just thought on the back of my mind, going to San Diego, 3 years shore duty. I'm like, my luck's gonna run out. Like, I should get out now, before
And then we
before
thinking
I.
you a goddamn model sailor. You out there doing all kinds of shit. But hey, what we don't know, hey, it's all good. But like, God dang.
Yeah, I was a heavy drinker. I've always struggled with addiction.
Hmm.
But that being said, I never was like intoxicated at work.
Never, never.
I took safety very seriously. So this that being, let me start off by saying that like I definitely wasn't doing this kind of stuff on the ship, um, and the ship was actually kind of like having to stand duty every third day. It was kind of forced rehabilitation in a way. So like
Hmm.
the and us just drilling all the time, like all constantly pulling in and out of port. Um,
Yeah.
when I was actually on the ship, I was all about business. I'd be working out. You know, I'd be working on quals. So it's kind of like the the two sides, I guess you could say. I was struggling, depression, addiction, when I was out, but when I was on the ship, it kind of like how tight everybody was and stuff. Like
Hmm.
everyone became my family. So I had I had everyone's back just like they had mine, and things were good when I was on the ship, but when I would pull in, I let the addiction kind of get a hold of me. But yeah, I decided to get out ultimately after 5 years. I guess another part of that decision was that I figured if I did take that 3 years shore duty, then I would end up doing the 20. And I never planned on joining the military, honestly, in the first place. So I kind of just decided to go to school, or I wanted to get a second chance on the civilian life, which is a whole nother story, man. It took me a while to get on my feet,
Hmm.
but I'm doing good now. So
That's good. That's good. So what are you currently doing now?
I'm a hydro power plant operator.
Hydropower plant operator. Wow.
Yep.
And how'd you get into that?
So obviously never would have got this job if it wasn't for my Navy background. Um,
Hmm.
but when I first got out, like I said, it took me a while to get back on my feet. Um, this, they just legalized weed like shortly after I came back, so
Yeah.
they're selling it, like just everywhere. So I was going to school, and I just kind of fell back into a little bit of a slump, uh, smoking all the time, whatnot. Um, but then I ended up landing a manufacturing job, um, working at FLIR, making infrared cameras, and I kind of just was like, I knew what I was capable of, so I ultimately had to make the call. I got to stop smoking, I got to stop drinking so much. So that took me a while, but I worked at that job for 5 years,
Hmm.
and that was kind of got me up to speed, with more of the electrical side of things, and so um, I I kind of started getting tired of that, and I made a LinkedIn account,
Hmm.
and a recruiter found me for the hydro gig off of LinkedIn. So basically saw that I worked in the Navy, worked on gas turbines, and they thought I would be a good fit for the hydro role.
Hmm.
So I interviewed for that and ended up getting that job, and it's great, man. Definitely learning new stuff every day. But it's perfect because it reminds me a lot of working on gas turbines, uh, but got to kind of be a jack of all trades. I do a lot of electrical work, as well, but mechanical side of things, it's second nature after doing what I did in the Navy. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's freaking sweet, man. Hydroelectric. Um, Now, do you think about I should have stayed and finished it out, or were you glad you made the decision to be discharged?
man, I flip flop on this. I used to flip flop on this all the time.
Hmm.
I can honestly say now that I think I did make the right decision, and that just ending up me right now, I'm doing really good for myself. But there were times, let me tell you, in this what I've been out. How long have I been out now? I've been out for almost dang near 12 years or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's been ups and downs, and there's been a lot of times where I was like, man, I should have done that shore duty. I should have stayed in. I could be getting my pension pretty soon. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about, just how long, if I would have stayed in, how long I'd be in right now. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, I think I'm happy with my decision. No regrets.
That's good, man. I'm glad you got yourself together, man. Because on the ship, I'm telling you, you was like, you the model sailor. You're the model sailor. It's that's why I do this, because you never know what's going on, outside the ship,
Yep.
But yeah, yeah, I'm glad you got yourself together, man. Uh, are you married, kids? I seen pictures.
Not married. I got a girlfriend, beautiful girlfriend. I love her. We've been together for about a year now, and she
Hmm.
has a 3-year-old son. So, doing the whole family life, things are really good right now. So,
That's good. That's good. That's really good. Hey, so this part of the show is the shipmate shout out. You can shout out anybody, that you serve with, who influenced you, helped you, anybody. The floor is yours. Who you want to shout out?
well, I already gave Miller and Nickerson a shout out. They definitely influenced me a lot, and we're just great guys. But I think I'm gonna have to go with Chief Emilius. He was a really good chief, and and then also yourself. I mean, uh, having you as a top snipe was awesome, man. Kind of like uh, definitely made life easy. I know you knew everybody knew that you had our back, so I'm definitely gonna shout you out as well. And then just as I said, like everyone that served on the Forest Sherman during that 2012 deployment, man, you guys were my brothers and sisters. I know that I've kind of lost touch with a lot of you guys, but yeah, to this day, you know, anybody from the Forest Sherman, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and you know, you're my brothers and sisters. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Um, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story, and I thank you for that shout out to me. And a shout out Chief Me is now retired. I think Lieutenant Commander Me is shout out to Miller. I'm go get to post. So I'm gonna come sweep Po Folk Garage for Miller up there when I travel up there. I'm gonna go up there. Shout out to Nixon as well out there. But I think that Chief, what's her name? Chief Sipla Jones.
yeah, Jones. Okay, yeah, shout out to Chief Jones. Yes,
Now
that's her.
Master Chief now, but yeah. I was gonna get it. Simpler Jones, yeah, yeah,
Man,
man,
save
that's
me from
amazing. Oh
probably
my,
getting thrown out, man. If
that's
I would have gone to
that's for
captain's
real.
mast for not showing up, you know, drinking, all kinds of stuff, like man, could have gone bad.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Master Chief Sipper Jones out there. All right, that's good. Hey, we really appreciate you coming on. You got a few, got Kiefer giving you thumbs up, Gandalf giving you thumbs up, a whole bunch of people giving you thumbs up out there. Well, but I really appreciate you taking the time to come on Snipes Castle and sharing your story. And we really appreciate you. Thank you again. I really enjoyed serving with you. Like I said, you was like the models. I mean, I never really heard about you. You just did your thing and came to work and did your thing, and that's what anybody. That's all anybody can expect anybody to do. You know. But never forget them times, man. I'm pretty sure everybody gonna want to see you. I know Coleman wanted to see what's up with you, so I know she gonna watch the video.
Shout out to Coleman, oil lab, man. When I put on first class, I was the LPO of the oil lab, and that you know everybody that worked for me, I guess you could say, was like just like rock stars, man. She was running that lab. She made I was signing off, the
Yeah,
reports and
yeah,
stuff,
yeah,
but
yeah,
she was running it. So shout out to Coleman, man.
yeah. Coleman. Oh yes, Coleman. I swear, man. I'm telling you, that crew from the Ford Sherman. I swear, but like I said, man, that house of Cart first was like Miller and Nickerson. And then people just us like every time they came in there, I think it was Art Minks came in there. It's like Dana's getting out. I think I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have a heart attack. All these people leaving.
Yeah,
Yeah, man, that was a surprise. But I'm glad you're doing well. And that's what I want to really, put out there. Hey, life after the Navy. Probably a little rough start, but damn, you got it together and you're doing your thing. And
yeah.
I appreciate you coming on to talk with us.
I
Again,
appreciate you having me.
thank you. And again, everybody out there, thank you for watching. Check us out. Give us a like, share it, and watch our shipmate tell his story. And again, my final words is always, hey, if you're out there and you support the troops, don't just support the troops, be like the troops, because we shipmates for life. Again, for the former GSM1 Dana, Ryan Dana, thank you for coming on. We got to give you a hand while we go out. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks,
And
Ian.
again, thank
Keep
you.
doing these podcasts.
Yeah. I'm tracking down everybody. All right. Again, thank you for coming on, everybody. Thank you for watching Snipes Castle. We see you again next week with another shipmate for life. We're going to be talking with. All right, Dana. Thanks for coming. Stand by for 1 second.
Hard work, work. Hard work, work. Hard work, work. Hard work, work. Hard work, that's what they say. Hard work, work. Hard work, I earn my pay. Hard work.